Hey everybody, how's it going? This is John Breeden. It is February 20th, 2019. I'm here today to preview the Atlanta race weekend. We are here to talk about Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup, a triple header weekend. Trucks and Xfinity both taking place on Saturday, and then the Cup race, of course, on Sunday. I want to talk a little bit about the track surface. If you remember, I believe it was 2 years ago that they were actually planning to repave Atlanta Motor Speedway. It was a very old surface. I believe one of the oldest track surfaces still today. A very rough racetrack, and they were planning on repaving it. The drivers petitioned not to, and we still have the old Atlanta Motor Speedway. So, going to be very interesting. It definitely is a tough racetrack to get around. Cars get loose, and you can run the top, you can run the bottom, and it's definitely going to be a great race weekend. One of the fastest racetracks we go to. First mile and a half of the season, and this is, of course, the second race of the 2019 season. So I want to talk a little bit about the trucks here first. The truck race on Saturday. 130 laps. Last year's winner was last year's champion, Brett Moffitt. As far as the entry list, Kyle Busch is entered to drive his number 51 truck. So these truck guys are going to have to watch out. Obviously, Kyle, the most winningest driver in the Camping World Truck Series, Gander Outdoors Truck Series. It's going to be hard to get used to, but he is the winningest driver in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series, and he obviously loves Atlanta, but the past 2 years, the winner at Atlanta in the Truck Series ended up winning the championship that year. As mentioned, Brett Moffitt won the championship last year after winning in Atlanta, and then Christopher Bell in 2017 would then go on to win the championship later that year. So, as far as this race goes, I think Brett Moffitt's definitely going to be strong. He's going to be up there battling for the win. I think Todd Gilliland will probably have a pretty good truck. Johnny Sauter as well. But my pick to win this race is Kyle Busch. Obviously, it is hard to bet against Kyle Busch when he runs the Xfinity Series or the Truck Series. And more often than not, it's hard to bet against him in the Cup Series as well. But usually when he enters these races, he only has, I think, 5 races in one season. I believe that's the limit for Cup drivers in the Truck Series. So he usually gets it done. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Kyle Busch, and I believe he was actually en route to win last year before, I think his tire fell off. I think he came out of the pits and something was wrong, and his tire just fell off of his race car, so race truck more like it. But yeah, I think Kyle Busch is going to get it done in Atlanta. He's going to rebound after finishing second, just coming up short in the Daytona 500, and he's going to get off to this season with a Truck Series win. Now to talk about Xfinity, 163 laps this Saturday. Last year's winner was Kevin Harvick. One of the major entry list changes for this week. Ryan Preece will be driving the number 8 car for Junior Motorsports. Of course, Chase Elliott was behind the wheel of the 8 car last week. And here's a trend here. A Cup driver has won Atlanta the past 6 straight years, but those 2 Cup drivers were Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch. The past 6 races at Atlanta have been won by either Kyle Busch or Kevin Harvick. But fortunately for the Xfinity guys, they are both not in this year's race. Chase Briscoe is behind the wheel of the number 98, and Jeffrey Earnhardt is in the number 18 once again this week. So, good thing for those Xfinity guys. They do not have to worry about the Cup drivers except for Ryan Preece. My pick to win this week, a little bit outside the box, but I am going to go with Cole Custer. Cole Custer, very fast on the mile-and-a-half tracks, and it's tough to get a bet against him. So I think he's definitely going to be one of the front runners. I think Christopher Bell will obviously have a fast car, but in the end, I think Cole Custer is going to surprise a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of people are probably picking Bell, but Cole Custer won Texas last year, dominated that race, got himself to Homestead. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Cole Custer. I think Cole Custer wins on Saturday at Atlanta. Finally, we're at the Cup race, 325 laps, the Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500. Last year's winner, Kevin Harvick. And Garrett Smithley in the number 77 this week. That's the only change in the entry list. Garrett Smithley did not run the Daytona 500, so he is entering this week in the number 77 car. The winner of Atlanta the past 3 years went on to compete for the championship in Miami. You talk about Kevin Harvick, won last year. The year before that, it was Brad Keselowski, and then the year before that, it was Jimmy Johnson. And that year, Jimmy Johnson went on to win his 7th championship. So, I think a lot of people are probably looking at Kevin Harvick as the favorite because he just dominates these mile-and-a-half tracks. More importantly, Atlanta. You talk about Phoenix or perhaps ISM Raceway probably being Kevin Harvick's best racetrack, but he is not too shabby at Atlanta. He won there last year. He's led a lot of laps at that racetrack. And I believe the year before that, he led the most laps, but ended up getting a pit road penalty and did not win the race. So he knows how to get around Atlanta. So Kevin Harvick is definitely a prime candidate. But this year, I got to go with Joey Logano. And Joey Logano, I think, wins because here's the thing. Joey Logano, yes, he did not have the best team last year, and he won the championship, but he probably did have the 4th or 5th best team last year, obviously behind the big three, and, you know, at times Chase Elliott looked like he was going to be a championship contender, and as well as, you know, Brad Keselowski got on a hot streak there, but Joey Logano had a very solid team last year, so he definitely earned that championship 100%, but it's not that as much as it is he has a whole new confidence about himself, and I noticed that at Daytona, he just seems so much more confident in his ability more than ever, and rightfully so, because, you know, he stunned everybody last year by upsetting the big three who won a combined 20 races last year. He ended up winning the championship with just 3 wins, so I think Joey Logano is going to be even stronger than he was last year. He's going to be even more of a major threat for the title this year. So I think he gets his season off to a good start and he wins Atlanta. And if, like I said, that stat, the past 3 years, the winner of this race went on the championship 4. So whoever does win this race, you could probably suspect that they are going to be a major championship contender down the line. So my pick is Joey Logano, and I think he obviously will be a major championship contender this year and trying to defend his title. Take a look at the schedule for this weekend. We have Xfinity Saturday at 2 p.m. on FS1. Then the Truck Series immediately following the Xfinity race Saturday at 4:30, also on FS1. And then the Cup race Sunday, 2 p.m. on Fox. There is rain in the forecast. I saw that somewhere on Instagram that it looks like there could be weather that maybe delays this weekend's action. But do note that the Atlanta Motor Speedway does have lights, so I'm sure they will do everything they can to try to get it in, and we'll have to see, but just keep note of that. So that is all. I will be back on Monday to recap the Atlanta weekend. Everybody have a great day.